one mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
What up? Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the One Mic with Big Mike show, a.k.a.
Hump Day.
Absolutely, as I help you get over the rest of this hump today, right here on Spreaker.com, also on the Spreaker app. Tune in, and of course the website onemicwithbigmike.com if you want to be involved in the show, if you want to ask your questions, make your comments or your criticisms. Feel free to send them to my text line at 404-902-8104. That's 404-902-8104. You can also jump inside my live interactive chat room. You have to be listening via Spreaker or my website first. And once you're there, you'll see a little thought bubble icon sitting on the streaming player. Just click on that. It'll get you inside the live interactive chat room. You also can check out my Facebook page where I'm streaming live video right now. Facebook.com/1MIC, WITHBIGMIKE is where that's located. And you can just leave your comments and questions right below the video in the comment section. It's just that easy, man. So welcome into another episode of One Mic with Big Mike. I also got my hashtag putting on the poll questions up at One Mic with Big Mike on Twitter. At the bottom of the top of the hour, I should say top of the next hour, we'll take a look back into the history of sports for my daily feature on this day. And at the bottom of the hour, got a little special treat, something for my ladies and for my fellas as well. The homies from the new VH1 hit The Breaks, two of the stars of the show, my man Antoine Harris and Sinqua Walls, is going to join the show, chop it up about some March Madness stuff. We're going to talk about the show itself, other things that they've done. You might have seen Sinqua as what was Sinqua's name on Power? Sean. He was Sean on Power. My man Antoine was on Power too for a spell. They both got killed by 50 Cent. Antoine was also on Ballers. Is on Ballers. I'm sorry. He's the guy who plays wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins, and Denzel Washington's boy is trying to get his number. Get his number from him once he gets traded there. So they'll join me at 7:30. Looking very much forward to that. Other than that, of course, the tournament starts this weekend. It unofficially started because of the play-in games or the first four or whatever you want to call them, but nothing really to see here except for guys getting choked out by their teammates or whatever. No big deal, right? I guess the kid from New Orleans was like, F that. If we gonna lose, we gonna lose the game, but I ain't gonna lose this fight. But he forgot to remember that pertains to the other team. You fight the other team when you lose the game. But all's well that ends well. No one got hurt. My man got benched or whatnot, and that is what it is. So the tournament starts this weekend for real. Which means today is going to be the last show of the week. We'll pick up everything on Monday. We'll do a full slate of shows next week. I got a guy from the Dunk Ball League coming on Monday. That should be interesting. I saw this thing on television one day. These guys have a league where they lower the basketball goals to like 9 feet, so that average people, below average people, probably a bunch of white dudes, if I'm going to be honest with you, can dunk the basketball. And you can only be, it has something to do with you being under 6'5", and you can only play one guy that's over 6'5" at a time on a team. It's real weird and crazy, but we'll talk to him on Monday, probably Wednesday. Try to get my man comedian Shang on, Shango Forbes, real funny ass guy, real socially conscious guy too. Get him on to talk about some of this crazy stuff that's going on in the world. Not really a sports guy, but who cares, right? No one wants to talk about sports all the damn time, any damn way. So that's what I got slated for today and leading into next week so far. Just giving you guys a preview. This Hump Day edition will be the last episode for the week, I should say. As far as today's show goes, I already told you about the guest, told you about what I got coming up at the top of next hour. I'll also talk about some NFL free agency stuff. This kind of got me perplexed in a way, but some other things that really don't. Some other things that really make sense to me in NFL free agency. Snoop Dogg's in the news. He and Donald Trump, of course. like that has to be a thing, right? Like 4 years couldn't go by without saying the terms Snoop versus Donald Trump. So we'll talk about that. Speaking of challenges, Charles Barkley, your man Lavar Ball, the ball kid from UCLA, his dad stays in the news. And for the people, let me say this real quick. For the people that's on him about that, it ain't on him. If you don't want to hear from this dude, like he don't have a TV station, you don't want to hear from this dude, just stop reporting on him. I mean, he probably got like a gang of Twitter followers, but that's whatever. So people like, he needs to shut up. Nah, he probably don't. You know what I mean? And then the smart thing he's doing too, I just saw it earlier on ESPN. He's making them put his logo up, his ball or whatever it is, his clothing line logo. He's making them put that up on the set while he's there. Yeah, he's doing big things, and there may be some sketchy stuff about him, but for whatever it's worth, look, dude, we're not looking at three criminals. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's kind of extreme, but we're not looking at three criminals that are his sons. We're looking at three guys that we can foreshadow being productive members of society. And shout out to your man Darrelle Revis. Speaking of the NFL earlier, I'm gonna get into that first, but shout out to Darrelle Revis, man. Beat that rap. He got one of his boys to take the rap from him, saying he's the one that knocked out these two cats that was lurking and harassing Darrelle Revis. And that leads to a bigger point, man. Like, know your role. Stay in your lane, B. Like, I'm very, very for this, man. Stop bothering people because you feel like you know them or you feel like you have some ownership of them. I bought your jersey. So what? Keep it moving, man. Like, you see somebody in the street, what's up, man? How you doing, man? I appreciate your work. Can I get a picture with you? If he says no or she says no, keep it moving. You don't have to be that guy because then you'll be on TV asleep and have everybody trying to feel sorry for you except me. I don't feel sorry for that ass at all. That's what you get, man. You feel like because somebody's got money and somebody's got some a level of celebrity that you're supposed to be able to just run up on them and do what you want to do. Not so fast, homie. Let's see what else I got on these notes today, man. Not a lot to talk about other than these games. And I don't like previewing games and doing that thing, especially when I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. That's not really the move. Oops, sorry, something just happened here. Ezekiel Elliott, that story's picking up steam because again, there's nothing really to talk about. So the Ezekiel Elliott thing is really picking up steam, and there's been like a dose of Gronk in it because apparently. We gotta bring up the race issue because it's a real thing. Like, I'm not saying that facetiously. It's a real thing that, some guys get a pass for certain things and other guys don't. And some guys get their reputations dragged through the mud no matter what. People keep saying that this kid is under investigation. He's under the NFL investigation. That's like being under the NCAA investigation. There's no criminal things going on. The people who had the power to criminally charge him, the people in Ohio was like, nah, we good. Keep this moving. They got the text messages of a girl telling her friends to lie for her and all this kind of stuff. Her threatening him that you're going to be sorry for this because he didn't take her to the NFL with him and all this kind of stuff. That's, to me, the NFL is missing on this by continuing to say this thing happened before he got in the league. We moving into another draft right now, and they still talking about they investigating. Come on, man. This is just something that they're trying to hold over this kid's head. So now every time he does something, it reverts back to that. Everybody's mind goes back to that. Oh my God, it's a story about him and a woman. This must mean he's a sexual abuser or a domestic abuser. Nah, man. And I don't care how much they try to say that stuff. We're not saying these two things are linked, but you are. The fact that they're coming out of your mouth together is a strong indicator of what you're trying to portray. But that's cool because, what I'm saying, there's a video of Gronkowski motorboating some broad, and like that's a cool thing, I guess. And that's what it is because he's Gronk. He can do Gronk things. All right, cool. We'll talk about the NFL dope dealing. I mean, that's something that I can't believe is not like a bigger deal too. And then I guess because most of these news outlets are controlled by the NBA or the NFL in some way, shape, or form, they've kind of done a good job of putting their hooks in CBS. They got their hooks in Fox. They got their hooks definitely in ESPN, so which is ABC. So they got everything pretty much surrounded, and no one's really gonna blast off on this thing until they necessarily have to. But unfortunately, I'm not getting no NFL money, so I gotta do what I do. And then some stuff about Donald Trump and all. Don't forget tonight, man, on Spike. If you haven't seen it yet, you can catch up. But then also the new episode of the Khalif Browder story comes on tonight on Spike, man. That's a good look for you guys who want to, keep abreast of some of the things that are going on culturally in the country. And it's a very well done so far documentary about this kid from New York that spent 3 years in Rikers Island for nothing, for no reason except that he was poor. He couldn't bond out because they was poor. You know what I mean? So tonight, check that out on Spike, if you will. It is the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here, Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, also on TuneIn, and, of course, One Mic with BigMike.com. Don't forget the show can also be heard on demand on every last one of those platforms, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music. Got YouTube as well, YouTube where you can also catch the live stream or the replay of the live stream that's streaming right now on the old Facebook page. Where's my guy at, man? Where's why can't I remember this kid's name? Reggie. You know what I mean? You guys can also jump inside the live interactive chat room if you so choose. Just click on the little thought bubble icon you see streaming on the streaming player if you're listening via Spreaker on my website. All right, now let's get into the stuff that's going on with the NFL. And then we'll hit the college basketball stuff or the NCAA stuff after the fact. So Fat Eddie Lacy signed today with Seattle of all people. And the report is that my man showed up at 276 pounds. Yeah, man. They keep talking about Seattle got these damn offensive line problems. It feel like they found him a guard, dude. Pete Carroll saying he needs him to slim down about 240. Just make him keep eating. Yeah, just keep feeding him. You're not paying him that much money. Like I think it's a 1-year deal worth something like $5 million, 3 guaranteed. But it's the NFL, so that word guaranteed, it gets thrown around very loosely. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's guaranteed until you find out it's all like roster bonuses and signing bonuses and workout bonuses. For him, he got a bonus attached to his weight. I think he got like $850K attached to him, keeping his weight in order. And the other thing that I warn people about too, understanding what organization this is. This is the same organization that paid Matt Flynn a lot of money in free agency and then drafted a kid named Russell Wilson and found out by the end of the preseason, like, wait a minute, this kid that we got in the third round is way better than this dude that we pulled from Green Bay. And they had no problem. Pete Carroll had no problems starting the kid, starting Russell Wilson. So having this thought that Eddie Lacy is now the Seattle Seahawks running back, nah, it's a 1-year deal, which means it's a no-year deal. They can cut his ass before or after camp if it don't work out. If he still show up and he's like 270, because that's 270. 267 is 270. And can't run and can't move. And a couple of weeks ago, months maybe, when he got hurt, I asked the question, like, how fat do you think this dude is going to be? It was when we were doing the question of the day. How fat do you think this dude is going to be when he comes back to play? And people had a bunch of different answers. I don't know if anyone said 267 or 270. But yeah, my man, that's his move, man. If you ever seen his moms and his pops, like genetically, man, Eddie Lacy's like gonna be a fat dude. Like when he's gonna be one of those dudes like Maurice Jones-Drew. He's gonna get done playing ball and he's just gonna turn into a balloon, to like an inflatable. Well, I'm saying when he's done playing ball, he's already there now, as a matter of fact. The other thing that came out of that whole situation though was we got to now we're getting the chance to gauge value. We talk about the running back. I talk about a lot the running back situation in the NFL and how I'm always about newer is better, especially when you're newer and cheaper, and I can get you in like the third round. I'm all about that life every day, all day. And the guys that are out there now, you're talking about guys like what's his name, Latavius Murray, Jamal Charles, of course, Adrian Peterson. Eddie Lacy now has, I kind of bristle to say he has a home because of what I just said. Like the Seattle Seahawks make transactions, I should say. I think for the last 4 years, maybe they've made the most transactions roster wise than any other team in the league. As far as like just bringing people in, okay, you good, signing them or cutting them or trading them. All these things is right up their alley. So for Eddie Lacy to be like, yeah, I'm good, man. I got me a spot now. It's a 1-year deal, B. I don't know how that really equates to any type of job security, especially when you're talking about NFL contracts. So moving on to Adrian Peterson, I read this article today that was kind of like just diagramming the problems with a guy like Adrian Peterson. This is why I'm always talking about people romanticizing. You know what I mean? Romanticizing their favorite athletes or these great athletes, not realizing that at some point they won't be great anymore. And sometimes they'll still be playing and not great, but continuing to say things like, "Oh man, he is the prototype running back," or "He's a superhuman," and all that. No, Father Time don't lose. You may be able to delay the ass whooping, but he's gonna jump on all of us at some point. And for a running back, that point is usually around that 30, 31-year-old mark. Adrian Peterson will be 32 here in just a second. So, and by the way, he got a meeting with the Seahawks, the same team that signed. They essentially signed Eddie Lacy over Adrian Peterson. Eddie Lacy's younger, he's fatter. Yeah, he's younger and fatter, and maybe even cheaper based on what people are setting their what's the word I'm looking for? Their value at. Adrian Peterson, I've said this for many a year now. As good a running back as he is, I always said he just comes across as this bumbling idiot. Like he tries to use words to like disguise it, but he seems like such a bumbling idiot. And on top of that, a terrible guy, just a terrible, terrible dude. You know what I mean? The guy who walks around talking about, oh, the Lord this and God this and whatever, is the same guy who was disowning his child even after the child was dead. Somebody murdered his baby that he had out of wedlock, that he kept secret. Still trying to say it was like a question of whether the baby was his until his pops was like, nah, that's my grandson. You know what I mean? And then he had to face it. And then this man of God could not miss a football game and go to his son's funeral. He sent the check and then was like, nah, I'm playing this week. Damn all that. Yeah, he's just not really that type of dude, like one of those faking the funk type dudes. I'm good. I'll enjoy your performance on the football field, but other than that, it makes it a lot easier for me in a situation like this where there may not be a market for Adrian Peterson. Like he putting out the videos, the videos people put out when either they're hurt or they're coming back from injury to show that they still got it. They're in shorts in somebody's gym doing agility drills for 30 seconds. I'm good. You know what I mean? I could probably pull off a good 10 seconds of some sweet agility drills real quick to make it look like I'm in some type of shape, even though I'm far from it. So anyway, that was his only visit. That was Adrian Peterson's only visit, and apparently, no other teams are really showing interest in him. Like that's one of those weird things that usually, and I talked about this last year with Roddy White. I was like, if Roddy White still had game, his agent would at least be able to leak some things. Like, there's some interest from this person or that person, or at least to link him up to certain things. Like with Dirk Cutter and Mike Smith being in Tampa, kind of linking him to that situation in Tampa, or whoever else was an offensive coordinator for Roddy White if they're still in the league, kind of linking him to that situation. None of that was happening. And it's not happening with Adrian Peterson now. Maybe it's a situation where both of them, they played their whole careers in one city. But I still don't understand. Well, I do understand. I understand that I don't want the older model if I can get the newer model for free with less risk to it. And it's not going to come in assuming or with this false sense of identity that you are the person that you were 5, 6, 7 years ago. My man averaged like 1.3 yards last year before he got hurt. That ain't getting it done for nobody at all. This is like a Ray Rice situation. Like, don't forget, Adrian Peterson had that situation with his son, And although it's not a hot button situation anymore and people seem to have forgotten it and let it go, there still can be used as ammunition or as a reason for not having him on your ball club, man. This article talks about how teams just don't believe he's elite anymore. And they point to the, 1.3, 1.9 yards a carry last year, as well as a fumble. Playing with the Vikings before he got hurt and Teddy Bridgewater got hurt, and they went on that little run that had everybody being stupid about Mike Zimmer and Sam Bradford. Yeah. And then with Eddie Lacy signing a $5.5 million deal, that kind of sets the bar. Both of them visited the same team. One of them left without a deal. The one of them signed a deal, which lets you can kind of surmise that your man Adrian Peterson wanted bread. You know what I mean? Like, he wanted more bread than people maybe were willing to fork over for a guy that's going to be 32 years old and plays running back when, of course, you got like 10 million running backs, in the draft. Tell me good running backs, too, not just like running backs because they have an RB in front of their name. They have good running backs coming out in this year's draft, which makes it harder for guys like him and Jamal Charles coming off an injury, Eddie Lacy coming off an injury, Latavius Murray, who is, good running back, but doesn't do a lot of those running back things that he's not Matt Forte. You know what I mean? He's Latavius Murray. He's like Adrian Peterson, right? One trick guys who carry the football, but they're gonna do a lot for you in pass protection. They're gonna do a lot for you catching the ball out of the backfield. And the league is moving on. It's moving on from that. You'll put it in their gut and pound it out. Nah, you gotta be Ezekiel Elliott, B. That's a special running back. You gotta be that guy. They can do everything coming out the gate. Like, that's what made him such a great prospect. This is why I worry about guys like Leonard Fournette. He'll go early, and he'll go to a good team. A lot of people felt like he'll go to Carolina. That's why I'm calling them a good team. I think Carolina underperformed. I think they overperformed 2 years ago, and I think they underperformed last year. And I think where they really are is somewhere in the middle. 9-10 wins, somewhere in the middle there. And so people have Leonard Fournette not scheduled. They haven't slotted right there with the Carolina Panthers, which would be nice with him, Jonathan Stewart, help him learn the ropes before he takes over. But still, at some point, man, you got to be everything as a running back, and you don't know that about Leonard Fournette, not because it's any fault of his. He just ain't have to do a lot of pass blocking or a lot of catching the football at LSU. Like, Les Miles was like, put it in his gut and let him go. You know what I mean? He'll take care of it. He'll run over these children by himself. And then there's the history, right? Recent history hasn't been too good for teams who decide to go after or to retain free agent running backs. You look at DeMarco Murray with the Eagles. Now, he had a bounce back year last year, but that was a trade. In this free agency year, it was a bunch of crap and turmoil. Chris Ivory with the Jaguars, Doug Martin. Doug Martin stayed where he was at, and still, they didn't get what they decided they wanted out of him. So to take a chance on a guy like Adrian Peterson at the money that he probably wants, in the role that he probably wants it in, like, he probably don't want to be like this 1-2 down back. Adrian Peterson want to be an every down back, even though he's 32, because that's the guy he is. For years and years and years, I remember when me and my man Callaway were doing the Sports Kings and having this conversation about how I felt like Adrian Peterson was just that guy who had everybody fooled, but he was really so selfish. You know what I mean? Like, every time he opened his mouth, it was always about rushing for 2,500 yards, being the best running back ever, breaking Emmitt Smith's record, leading the league in rushing, all these individual things that evidence showed didn't pan out to wins. And it didn't seem like that he ever cared about that. It was always like an afterthought, like, oh, yeah, plus, a Super Bowl too, maybe. Yeah, I'd like to do that too. Nah, it was never about that. And for people to say stuff like it is now, watch. He's going to end up with like give me a team that no one wants to be on right now, other than the Rams got a running back. Who was a team that I could see Adrian Peterson playing for that he definitely wouldn't want to, like the Saints or somebody like that. You know what I mean? That don't look to be going anywhere anytime soon, like the Saints or somebody. That's who we end up playing for. Somebody overpaying for that. Just like how the Cardinals back in the day overpaid for Emmitt Smith. Same type of deal, man. And it's all because of who he was supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's 30, but now he's 32 years old. That year coming back off the ACL is a long time ago, man. So we'll see. You know, now that the first proverbial domino has fallen, you know, we'll see what's going on with that. Here's the other thing too that came to my attention. I meant to text my guy Craig Hodges and ask him what his opinion on this is. Colin Kaepernick, you're not hearing his name either, right? All these people needing quarterbacks, and Mike Glennon and the Jets ain't got no quarterback because Ryan Fitzpatrick is dog crap and Geno Smith is dog crap. You know, Colin Kaepernick opted out of his deal, and even they signed Matt Barkley. They being the 49ers signed, I think it was Matt Barkley, and he's the only quarterback on their roster right now. So there's a need in the NFL right now for quarterbacks, for quality backup quarterbacks, and you're not hearing the name Colin Kaepernick much. And I think I would venture to say that while people may have heard him say that he'll stand for the pledge moving forward, I think it's too much. There's too much remembering going on that he didn't in the past, you know, and people use it as an excuse, you know, that age-old football excuse, you know. Well, we don't want the distraction. Yeah, I guess, you know, whatever. And I think it's a shame too. That's why the other day I was just shouting out to Michael Bennett as much as I was, because he's a guy who has the profile, and he's chosen to do, you know, to kind of carry on a little bit of what Colin Kaepernick started. He even mentioned Colin Kaepernick as a guy who influenced his decision, and that decision being, if you didn't hear the show on Monday, was to donate his endorsement money to organizations that are helping kids, that are opening kids' eyes to other things, instead of athletics, just athletics, or and then for women too. He's got 3 daughters, so he says he wants to invest in the empowerment of women. And he said between Chance the Rapper giving $1 million to Chicago Public Schools and the work that Colin Kaepernick is doing, the work, not just the kneeling, for so many people who feel like that's what it was all about. It's called Google. You know what I mean? The work that Colin Kaepernick has done with his money inspired Michael Bennett to want to do more, take more advantage of his profile. And I'm glad to see that, but I would also just in a way I would have loved to see Colin Kaepernick just be able to continue, you know, what he already started without compromising, due to the fact that, you know, he wants work. He needs work. He wants work. He plays football, and football allows him to do a lot of the things philanthropically that he's already done. And without football, it would be a little bit more, you know, a little bit more of a challenge, I would assume, financially. So the fact that, you know, just looking around at the landscape of things and seeing that he's not really getting the look, it's bothersome, man. It's not bothersome because it's him. It's just bothersome because if you guys heard my interview with Craig Hodges, you know, we talked about the NBA kind of being past that kind of stuff, you know, suspending Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf for not standing for the pledge, blackballing Craig Hodges, you know, for going to the White House with his dashiki on and passing George Bush a letter. And when he and I spoke about it, I brought it up to him, like, you know, what up with, you know, your man Adam Silver saying that he says players should go to the White House, even if it's just to use their voices to express some sort of discontent with what's going on in society right now. But meanwhile, the NFL is moving backwards on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Colin Kaepernick ain't the best quarterback. It's another thing that's going to hurt him. But, like, you know, Matt Barkley, Colin Kaepernick. I don't know that you necessarily win or lose with either hand. You know, people still talking about Jay Cutler. You know, people still, you know, Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon ran up $15 million, man. And shout out to him for that, $15 million a year. Shout out to him for that. But we'll see, man. You know, in a world where 100% of the ownership, old white men, I mean, you kind of just got to expect, this kind of stuff, I believe. All right, coming back on the other side of the break, we're going to chop it up with my man Antoine Harris, my man Sinqua Wallace from VH1's hit new show, The Break. Shout out to my man Big L. Reggie, I see you, homie. I am No Doze there in the chat room. If you guys want to join them, just go to Spreaker. Go to the Spreaker app or to my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. Click on that little thought bubble icon you see on the streaming player. to get you right up in this joint, man. You can also text me at 404-902-8104, or check me out. For you watchers, you can check me out on the old Facebook Live is going on right now on the Facebook page, One Mic with Big Mike. You can leave your comments and your questions right below that joint. Coming up, Sinqua Walls, Antoine Harris from VH1's The Breaks.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
What up? Welcome back to the Hump Day edition of the One Mic with Big Mike show. I forgot to mention also it's Woman Crush Wednesday, man. Professional nurse, like professional nurse, at professional nurse. It's today's Woman Crush Wednesday here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Live on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, and of course, One Mic with BigMike.com. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter and Instagram. After the interview, I'll give you guys the hashtag, put it on the poll questions for the day. You can also head on over to my Twitter account, One Mic with Big Mike, and check them out. Just put in the hashtag, put it on the poll, POLL, and you can chime in and give your thoughts on those type of things. So, as promised, doing big things here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. We got some superstars in the building. My man, Sinqua Walls, Antoine Harris. They play and Lil Ray on the new hit show on VH1, The Breaks. A look at 1990s hip-hop, the emergence of the golden era of hip-hop, man. And I hope you guys enjoy. Joining the One Mic with Big Mike show right now, the stars of VH1's new hit show, The Breaks. My man, Antoine Harris, Sinqua Walls. You guys know him from places like Ballers, places like Power. They're not doing real big things with VH1. Follow them on Twitter. I am Antoine Harris on Twitter and Instagram for Antoine, and at Sinqua Walls and the real Sinqua Walls on Twitter and Instagram, respectively. All right, now let's start here. This is a little bit different for me because I'm used to doing maybe 2 interviewers, 1 interviewee. But now I'm doing dual interviewees and only 1 interviewer. So what I'll do, I'll kind of just throw it back and forth between you guys.
Okay.
In my reading, to find out you guys, both of you guys, both former athletes. My man Antoine played a couple years at Louisville, did a couple years in the league. One down here where I'm at in the ATL. Sinqua did his basketball thing, Cal Poly, San Francisco. Well, the first question is, when did you guys catch that acting bug?
I mean, I caught it right after Antoine left Louisville. What I need to do this. No, man, I fell in love with acting when I was 11, and just let the passion grow from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, it was probably around, honestly, I don't want to just copy this guy, but it was probably around that same age, right when I realized that there were so many professions that I actually wanted to do, and then acting was the one that I could do them all in. You know what I'm saying?
So Sinqua, like I mentioned, you were down here in the A, and you were down here at a time where people really remember during that Bobby Petrino era when all that craziness was going on, and entering into the Mike Smith era. Mike Smith was my defensive coordinator in college, by the way. But the question I have for you is like, what was all that like from the inside? Because we all have our opinions on what was going on from the outside looking in. Everybody down here hates Bobby Petrino. They hope he dies screaming, all that kind of stuff. But from a player's perspective, on the inside looking out, what was that time like and all that stuff going on?
Is that for Antoine or that for me?
No, it's for Antoine, the former Falcon.
Oh, hey, Big Mike, the funny thing is, man, Wikipedia hates my life. There's another dude named Antoine Harris, and he played ball as well. He played for the Falcons. You know what I'm saying? I was at Virginia Tech. I never made it to the league.
Word.
I was a Hokie. Yeah, so that Wikipedia got me out here like I had 50 different lives. And I was like, man, that wasn't me.
So we got to work on that.
That's another dude, man.
Yeah,
that's another dude. But,
we got to work on
the
that.
Atlanta thing is, the Atlanta thing is interesting, though, because I got a lot of roots in Atlanta. I got a lot of friends out there and a lot of family in Atlanta. So it's love for that city.
No doubt.
It's a lot of love for that city.
Talking right now with Antoine Harris and Sinqua Walls from the hit VH1 show. The breaks, catch it every Monday evening at 10 p.m. What we on now? We on episode 4 now, right? Last night was episode 3.
Last night.
Real quick,
last night was episode 4.
Was episode 4? Let me get off script real quick. What the hell did throw in the river? Was that money? Was that bag of money?
Yeah, it was, man. It was a bag of money, but the it represented so much more than just money. It kind of represented my man Bug's life. You know what I'm saying? At that point, it was a very self-reflective moment, and he kind of felt like, I know where this money came from, and I know where I wanted to be. I know how far I wanted to be from me. You know what I'm saying? So he just kind of wanted to get rid of the whole thought, the whole moment tied to that bag of money.
Because
it was money. It was actually $20K.
Yeah, I had to rewind it. I was like, what the hell did he just do? Rewind? I rewinded like 3 times. I know that wasn't the money.
Yeah, that was the money.
Sinqua.
Hey, man, thank you for watching, too.
Oh, no doubt. I'm like, look, dude, I'm a child of the 90s, man. So anything that I can be nostalgic about, I'm all about it. When I hear dudes start talking about passing tapes around, I'm like, dude, if you like 20 and under, you have no idea what a tape is. You have no idea what the struggle of the tape was. You know what I mean? Putting the tape, putting the masking tape over the top of it so you can record over something that you had already done on a tape that wasn't supposed to be recordable, like all that kind of craziness. Yeah, I'm all about that life. For those of you who are listening, of course, you don't get the visual, but if you're listening, both of these brothers share one thing in common. 50 Cent murked both of them in Power at one point. So that happened. If Sean and Antoine, what was your character's name in Power?
Oh man, Rock
hanging around with Dre, got his ass murked by 50. So that happened. Sinqua, let me ask you this, man. Let me pose this to you first, Sinqua. And coming up as a black actor, everything went down last year with the Oscars so white stuff. But coming up as a black actor, give me some of the struggles that you guys had to go through, because now everybody sees you guys everywhere and sees you on all these shows, Power and Ballers and all this kind of stuff. But I'm going to assume that the road wasn't that easy for you guys. So starting with Sinqua, give me an instance where it was almost like, damn, dude, why is it so damn hard?
I mean, I think, entering into this business in general, you walk into it knowing that you're going to face a lot of adversity. So it really wasn't as much racial as it was just circumstantial. When you want to pursue an acting career, you want to pursue a career in entertainment, you have to win over casting directors. You have to win over directors. You have to win over writers. You have to do so much when you walk into each situation that it becomes less in the moment about, the color of your skin. It's more about, like, how can I tackle this opportunity? And for me specifically, it was about always walking in and just trying to change course. So I never walked into a situation going like, the odds are stacked against me. I always walked in going like, whatever the odds are, I'm going to take them down.
Real talk.
And I think now we've brought to light so much, and like you hear it more from people that really came before me, and they're like educating us on how things were when they were coming up, and they really paved the way.
Right.
They set the precedent for how we can walk into these situations and not face so much. Mm-hmm. So I can't say that it was difficult, but it definitely wasn't easy. And it's like I said, it's case by case, man. I think in any situation, I always walked in knowing who was who. When I look them in the eye, I know how they were reacting to me, and I take it from there. Mm-hmm.
But what about you?
And to piggyback, what SQ said, I think one thing that we shared is, an athletic mindset. So we weren't
strangers to the work. You know what I'm saying? So like when you're not a stranger to the work, and anything that can come from it, it's all downhill from there. You know what I'm saying? As far as like certain roles and certain opportunities, you know, maybe we didn't have enough opportunities to tell as many stories as we could. You know what I'm saying? I think nowadays people are starting to realize that everybody shares the same human experience, regardless of the tint of your skin. And I feel like the industry is starting to see, like, hey, man, this African-American brother can be a doctor just like this other guy can be a doctor. You know, so I feel like now the doors are opening more for us to do that. But it was definitely a battle. It was definitely a burden. But I think that's the life of an artist, man. If you love what you do and you love what you're doing, it's going to be a struggle at first. It's going to be a struggle. You know what I'm saying? Just be ready for those. Just be ready for it.
Along that same tone, a couple of days ago, I heard Samuel L. Jackson do an interview. He was doing a radio interview somewhere. He was talking about the movie Get Out, the Jordan Peele movie, and he made some comments as it pertained to the lead actor, saying that he was wondering, he just kind of wondered out loud how the role would have been attacked had it been casted, had an African American been casted as opposed to a cat from England. And I see that happening a lot. Like a lot of these cats, the first time I heard Idris Elba talk, I was like, what the hell he doing? He putting on? It's like, that ain't how he talk. That, you know, that ain't, but that's him. You know what I mean? And you don't really know it. The cat from 12 Years a Slave, the cat that played Martin Luther King, like all these cats have these English accents. Is that something that as two bruhs from America, you look at and be like, damn, because I'm sure like it ain't like a gang of bruhs over in England doing English accents for their movies. Am I right? So when you guys see that, what is the feeling like? I'm gonna go to Antoine first on this one, and then Sinqua, you can follow him up.
Honestly, man, like I gotta judge the work. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, it's the African American. You're from Pangea. You know what I'm saying? He's a brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Regardless of where he's from, if he does the work, man, and puts the work in and kills the character, I can't hate. You know what I'm saying? I really can't hate. You know, I would think that, you know, the opportunity should go both ways, though. Like you just said, like I don't feel like there's very many Americans over there doing any of their roles. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it could go both ways. But honestly, when we walk in the room for an audition, anybody could get it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care where you from. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you're the man for the job, you're the man for the job. Somebody like Samuel L. Jackson has way more years in this industry than I do, and he can speak like that. You know what I'm saying? He's over 200 movies in. He can speak differently than I can. But for me, I feel like it is what it is.
Yeah, I think it really goes back to the question you asked earlier about like what kind of adversity did we face. And like I said, it's that generation of where Samuel came from, where he saw so much that he's asking questions that I think are only opening doors for us. You know, it's opening doors for me and Antoine. It's also opening doors for the guy that was in Get Out. And when you see it, just like you said, with him and with Idris, the fact that we didn't know they were American, it came down to the work at the end of the day.
Right.
And the only thing that I really look at it is not in a frustrating way. I just want to see good actors play the part. Like if there was someone that was not believable in that role as much as I felt like he was in Get Out, then I would be upset. I said me and Antoine could have played that part. But I felt like he did his job to where we believed the story he was telling. So it didn't really matter at the end of the day to me if he had an accent or not, because he was authentically the best person to play that role.
The other two voices that you're hearing right now on the One Mic with Big Mike show are Antoine Harris and Sinqua Wallace, the stars of VH1's new hit show, The Breaks. If you haven't checked out The Breaks yet, man, you got to check it out every Monday, 10 p.m. on VH1, or check your local listings. It's described as a gritty, authentic take on the origins of hip hop through the journey of three friends exploring the industry in the 1990 New York City. A bunch of people in this, man. Like, I'm feeling old because I'm looking at my man Method Man playing like a concerned dad.
Right.
Like Mr. How High is a dad now. Tiana Taylor's in this joint. Of course, my man Wood Harris, a.k.a. Avon Barksdale. Mac Wiles is in it. It's like crazy people came out. Charlemagne the God is in it. Plenty of people came out. It's a well-casted situation, man. I definitely suggest you guys check it out. Let's go back to your early years, like growing up. Give me, because I'm looking at these characters in these movies, in the show so far, and there are some fork in the road moments for these guys, man. Starting with Sinqua, give me at a younger age some fork in the road moments or a fork in the road moment that maybe you could have gone left, but fortunately you went right, and it turned out well for you in the end.
I mean, I think being a product of Los Angeles from the time I was, young, growing up in LA City, there's a fork in the road moment every day, and I think that's something that both Antoine and I can speak to just from our upbringing and environment. You decide to make choices on the daily when
what corners you go down, what direction, what stores you shop at. You know, you're always raised understanding that each and every moment is a fork in the road. You have to make those decisions daily.
But I totally agree with SQ, man. And I think another saving grace for me is definitely the athletics world. You know what I'm saying? At a young age, like a lot of my friends kind of, you know, at that fork in the road, they went left, and I had practice. You know what I'm saying? Like I had responsibilities. I had things that I had to do and be at. You know what I'm saying? So while I was still connected to them, I didn't really get to go down that road that they went down. Thank God. You know what I'm saying? The athletics pretty much kept me really busy.
Antoine, introduce me to and then Sinqua, then you introduce me to Lil Ray. If I was just a person off the street and I wanted to know who these guys were, introduce me to them.
Okay. Is a pragmatic. He has an ease with silence. He has an ease with violence. He's introspective. He's from where he's from, but his mind isn't stuck in the project that he was born in. Single parent household. He had two options coming up, like the fork in the road you speak of. It was the hustlers and it was the nerds. Mm-hmm. So he basically went on the route to be a hustler. You say he's a street guy pretty much, and he also rapped to kind of ease his mind. His rap was his peace of mind. That's why he sounded solid. So is a pretty much I approach him as a two-tier person. You know, when he's rapping, he's a full-on rapper, but when he's in the streets, he's full-on in the streets.
I mean, to piggyback off of that, I think Lil Ray shares a lot of the similar qualities to in that he understands both worlds very easily, and he used the knowledge that he had of how to navigate both systems to kind of allow himself to go forward. He's a jack of all trades. He can communicate with anybody, and he always is looking for an opportunity to see how he can make the situation work to his benefit, whether that be, you know, with sports, whether that be with his communication. He's a very calculated individual.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Make sure you guys are following these guys on social media. Twitter and Instagram for Antoine is I'm Antoine Harris. And for Sinqua, his Twitter is Sinqua Walls. And the real Sinqua Walls is his Instagram. What kind of preparation did you guys have to do for these roles? We'll start with Sinqua on this one. Did you draw from someone in your past? Was it just like studying other people? Like, did you know these guys coming up? Because like I look at especially, I'm like, yep, I know that dude. His name was Corey. Corey was a dude I went to high school with that really never said a lot. But anyone that knew Corey knew he had like guns all over his mom's crib, and he got bodies on him. You know what I mean? So I saw and I was like, damn, that's Corey blank. You know what I mean? So in preparing for these characters, man, how did you guys, you know, come about the way you were gonna approach the roles?
I mean, I think specifically for Lil Ray, I approached the character just from what his position and vocation was in the industry that the break revolves around, which is music. So I had an opportunity to talk to a lot of music managers, road managers that also repped a lot of really good talent, and they told me about the experiences that they went through. So that educated me on how to really communicate, how to not take no for an answer, and how to always be someone that, you know, they're always the eyes and ears of every situation. So from that communication, I learned a lot about how to approach my character, Lil Ray. And as far as working with artists like I knew a lot of growing up. So the biggest thing that I always knew from dealing with characters like is that you have to be real from day one. Mm-hmm. And if you look at Lil Ray, he's always very direct, and he's always very real, and he's always very honest, for good or bad, because that's the only way you're going to be able to really live and interact with people like that.
Mm-hmm. As for myself, again, the duality thing, I approached it as two people, kind of. You know, like for street side, I kind of studied a lot of, sounds morbid, but I studied a lot of serial killers. I watched a lot of their interviews. I read a lot of their articles, because I just had to understand the mindset of, regardless of what you think about what I do, how graphic it is, how wrong you may think it is, right. I had to enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? It had to be, this is me. This is who I am. And it had to be okay by me for me to really be able to play him the way that I thought he should be played. As far as the rap side of him, I mean, I went back to the golden age, man. Just like you said with the tape decks, man. I studied the people who I listened to anyway. I went and studied Biggie. I went and studied Jay. I went and studied Nas. I went and studied Pac. I went and studied Slick Rick, Big Daddy Kane. And I kind of just put them in boxes like, flow and delivery, style. You know what I'm saying? Like, just kind of try to compete with them, to be honest. Like, I figured if it was like I'm really in 1990 and I'm trying to be a rapper, I would really have to be able to approach myself as, can I compete with these dudes? And I kind of studied them like that, kind of broke them down piece by piece. And the thing that I like about how the writers wrote it is that though Little Ray is a new character to the series, the way they wrote it, it's like his whole story was running synonymous with while the film was going on. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we were introduced to Little Ray. It's almost like, oh, now you're seeing him in his life. You know what I'm saying? In his daily life. So I like the way the writers kind of brought everybody together. Like, there's so many stories, and so to be on the show with there's so many stories, you got to hold your part down. You got to hold down your square when you're working with such great actors. So I feel like it worked out well. Now,
you mentioned, studying Big Daddy Kane and Slick Rick and those people. Did you spit before the show? Do the people on the show actually have skill? I know Mac Wilds does his thing, and Tiana Taylor's an artist as well as course Method Man. But the true thespians amongst you, do you guys? Well, I know Sinqua. Red Sinqua is a poet, which we'll get to that here in just a second, which is ridiculous. But do you guys actually have flow for real? For real?
Oh man, I used to rap like at school, rap battles at the lunch table and all that, little kid stuff, but like never really took it seriously. I never really had the keys to that game. I was lucky that Dan Charnas was so thorough and the people that he put around his character. You know what I'm saying? Actually, my audition tape was Can I Live? We had to do Can I Live, so that was the first rap that the fact that they picked that one, which is a very technically challenging rap to do. I could tell off rip that they knew hip hop. And then we got Fonte Coleman, who's from Little Brother, and he's probably your rapper's favorite rapper. And he's also a beast as well. So they just made it very easy for me to kind of get into that mode, get into that zone. I felt like I've been a rapper working with these guys. I felt like he was a rapper watching him rap. Oh man. My God.
All right, so
I paid him for that.
No doubt. I mentioned Sinqua reading that you got published poetry and all these kind of things, and like you got your sex symbol thing going real strong, my guy. Me and my man, like straight up, me and my man on my previous show, I had a co-host on my previous show, and we did this real immature, silly thing. It was called Breasticle Watch 2015 or 14 or whatever year it was, and it was leading up to your sex scene with Lala in Power. So like that movie had you crushing some TV crushing, some dimes, man. And now the last episode that I saw of the breaks again. So the question, I was talking to my man about this interview the other day, and we got questions, bruh. Like, as a dude, when you doing these sex scenes, and it's like Lala, and it's like Tasha, and it's like girl from the breaks. Like, how you keep yourself calm, my guy, or is it just one of those things like nature's got to take its course?
He paid me into a corner, man.
This is real life, though, dude. You a man, I'm a man, and I'm looking at it like there's no way in the world I would be able to. But you're a professional, though. You mean?
I think it's just like anything else. Like at the end of the day, you approach those situations like you put your hard hat on, no pun intended, and you just go to work. And you look at it like when you're interacting with them, these are your castmates, these are your co-stars, and my job in the scene is to protect them at all costs. So the number one thing I'm always focused on is, are they comfortable? Do they feel safe? Do they feel secure? Much like in a personal relationship with a woman I'm dating. So I'll look at it like, if we are friends and we have this intimate situation, I want to make sure that number one, they're safe, and they know that they can trust me, and they don't ever have to feel like there's any level of underhanded intention that's going on. So I always just really approach it that way, and then because of that, we're able to like live and let these characters tell their stories, and it just happens to be within those circumstances.
Good for you guys, man. Like there's certain people on Earth that are designed to do certain things. Like, I'm definitely not designed to do that. I'm way too immature. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be 40 this year, but I'm still like mad immature. Like, I'm still waiting. They say like Lala's gonna do a topless scene, so we gotta put that in the show, and it's gotta come up, and then the pictures get leaked. So I'm like retweeting it and like real immature stuff. So shout out to you guys, man. I'm definitely like, I don't know you guys. I'm just meeting you guys today, but I'm proud of you guys and what you're doing, man, and the nostalgia that you're bringing to the screen with the breaks. It's a wonderful thing, the work that you've done previously. The last thing I got for you, man, I definitely appreciate your time. He's Antoine Harris, and of course, Sinqua Walls from the hit show The Breaks. You guys know him from shows like Ballers and Power and things like that as well. Make sure you check it out every Monday at 10 p.m. They kind of did. Hey, they did you guys a favor too. They sandwich it in between those like love and hip hop divas of whatever. I don't look at those shows though, by the way. So I just set the reminder for the breaks to come on, and I can't like I got a certain level of ratchetness that I can consume. So that's got to stay out. But the last thing I got for you guys before I let you go real quick, you guys into the March Madness thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're talking about it right now.
Word. My guy. So let's start with Antoine. Give me your final four real quick, and I'm gonna get Sinqua's final four, and I'll let you guys go, man.
All right, my final four is going to be Duke, UNC.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna put Nova in there.
Okay.
I think that was a good one. She was talking about them earlier, and I like what these is it UCLA? I think it might be UCLA. Yeah, it might be UCLA. I think they might sneak in there somehow.
Yeah, I would actually. I mean, like he said, Duke. I go with Duke, Nova, UCLA. I gotta go with a sleeper. That's my three. I'm trying to think of who I really think is a sleeper out here that can just go shock the world.
Y'all got no love for Gonzaga? No love for Gonzaga?
I will say this, and I shout out to everybody in Spokane. Gonzaga's not making it past the Elite Eight.
Word. My man. So,
who you got, Mike? What's your fault?
See, this is my thing though. I'm the dude that I don't even fake it, cause like when it comes to college basketball, I feel like the regular season is really the preseason, and then you have the warm up, which is the conference championships. Like the regular season really just started for me right now. So I had my college basketball expert on yesterday to give me all my crib notes and whatever. So I'm basically just copying him. I'm going UCLA. I'm going Duke. I'm going who was the other one? I think Nova and Kansas was the other one. Kansas, yeah.
Oh, this is a good pick.
Yeah.
That's a really good pick. Okay, I would actually, because I've seen them play a couple times this year. Their PG is lights out. So he's a good pick. I think Villanova, people sleep, they might mess around and win the whole chip.
Word. Look at we got heat coming at the back end of the interview, no doubt. Hey man. Hey man, like I said before, man, thank you guys for showing some love to a little guy like me, man. And I wish you guys continued success in everything you do, and I'll be an avid supporter of all your work. I love all your previous work, but definitely going forward. Oh, last thing, I lied before. It's not the last thing. What you guys got in the works though, man? Before I let you know, like stuff that you guys got coming up.
Man, a lot of hope, man. Season 3 of Ballers, and hopefully multiple seasons of The Break. And hopefully some film projects, man. But a lot of hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put the same request into the ether as well, saying hopefully some film projects, man. I have a film that I shot over the summer in conjunction with Potter and David Russell directing, and it's turned into an international campaign. It's out now, and you can see it everywhere. So that's what's going on in conjunction with The Break. But obviously more film projects and hopefully multiple seasons of The Break to come.
No doubt. Antoine Harris, Sinqua Walls, Get Out Part 2. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hey, fellas, man, it's been real, man. Thank you guys, man. Have a good one.
Man. Be well, man.
It's my guys, man. Antoine, those some cool dudes, man. Antoine Walls, Antoine Harris, Sinqua Walls from the new VH1 show, The Breaks. Check it out every Monday on VH1. Like I said, it's between those like love and hip hop shows. It's like sandwiched in between them. It comes on at 10 o'clock. So make sure you set your DVR, set your reminders and all those things to check out those guys. Also, the new season of Ballers will be coming up, so you'll catch my guy Antoine on the new season of Ballers as well. Sinqua got killed in Power, so the next season of Power will be without Sean since 50 decided he didn't need to be. Then they decided he wanted to kill his own son. You heard me ask him about like the sex scenes and everything, because that's like a real deal thing. And I shot him a message earlier before the show started, because just ironically, there was a clip of Samuel L. Jackson and some white girl that's an actor too. I don't know who she is. I don't know a lot of the younger white actresses and actors. But they were talking about that, about like getting boners when you're doing sex scenes. And then old girl was like, it's offensive if you do, but it's still kind of offensive if you don't get one. And I was like, damn, that's a tight spot to put a bruh in. And Sam was just like, for the couple of sex scenes that he did, he just said he goes in before the director yells action. He just apologizes in advance. Like, I'm sorry if I do. And And I'm sorry if I don't. Yeah, that'd be me. But I'd be like, yep, this is going to happen. Sorry in advance. There's not a flashlight in my pocket. I'm just happy to see you. All right, so we'll come back on the other side of the break. I got on this day, I got to finish up my NFL talk and get into this bracket stuff. Hopefully I can get up out of here a little early tonight, man. I got to get up like crazy early in the morning. So we'll do that next. Once again, shout out to my guys and appreciate everybody over there at VH1 for looking out for the boy, Antoine Harris, Sinqua Walsh for joining the One Mic with Big Mike show.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
In the U.S., about 90 people die in motor vehicle crashes each day, and thousands more are injured, resulting in hundreds of millions of dollars in direct medical costs each year. 1 in 3 crash deaths involves drunk driving, almost 1 in 3 involves speeding, and half of those who died were not buckled up. Even though we've made progress in the U.S., other high-income countries have lower motor vehicle crash death rates. We can and must do better. Here's what you can do. Use a seatbelt in every seat on every trip, no matter how short. Make sure children are always properly buckled in the back seat, in a car seat, booster seat, or seatbelt, whichever is appropriate for their age, height, and weight. Never drive while impaired by alcohol or drugs, and help others do the same. Obey speed limits, and drive without distractions. To learn more, visit cdc.gov/vital signs.
One Mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One Mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody. You know, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One Mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Banged Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Hump Day.
It is Hump Day. It's also a Woman Crush Wednesday here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Heard live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Not this Friday, though. We're watching basketball this Friday, so enjoy yourself. Right here on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, as well as on TuneIn and the One Mic with BigMike.com website. Also, the show is available on demand on all 4 of those outlets, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and, of course, good old-fashioned YouTube. If you guys want to get in contact with the show or get in touch with me during the show, text me at 404-902-8104. That's 404-902-8104.
Business that could benefit from additional.
My bad. 404-902-8104. You can also leave your comments and questions below the live streaming video that's going on my Facebook page, One Mic with Big Mike on Facebook, or jump inside this live interactive chat room I got going on here. Just go to Spreaker or be listening via Spreaker or the app or, of course, my website. You see a little thought bubble icon on the streaming player. Just click on that joint. It'll get you right up inside the building. All right, it's time to do on this day. We also got to talk about the rest of these NFL things that got me kind of wondering. And how the NCAA, every year around this time, it just brings out the level of exploitation that goes on within the NCAA and the level of hypocrisy that resides within that entire organization as it pertains to the unpaid labor in some corners of this world. Is known as slavery. But we'll talk about that here in just a second. Also, I gotta give you guys the amusing, the comical stylings of Charles Barkley and Lavar Ball. It's ridiculous, old, fat, out of shape men still trying to let that flicker of a competitive spirit burn. I would do that in just a couple minutes.
Now, let's take a look back.
On this day.
All right. Let's make it short and sweet. On this day in 1912, Pitcher Cy Young retires from baseball with 511 wins. Cy Young, of course, the guy who the award is named after. Speaking of baseball, are you, MF is just not looking at it, but are you checking out what's going on with the World Baseball Classic? It's like baseball how it should be. Bunch of brown people acting extremely ignorant playing a game. Not this watered down vanilla Wonder Bread version of American baseball. If you stare at me, I'm going to hit you with this 90 mile an hour fastball. If you flip your bat, we're going to fight. In the baseball sense of fighting, not a real fight. Although, like Bautista Odor last year, again, two brown brothers. They know what the fighting is all about. If you're going to do it, let's do it, right? But yeah, these dudes, my man Javier Baez, like if I know your name and you're not like a big-time home run hitter in baseball, you're something. This dude, no-look tags. Like he's rushing in a tag, a stealing base runner, if you guys haven't seen this video. And before he even catches the ball, he's pointing at the catcher, telling him good catch, and he never looks at the base runner and tags him out. Ignorant stuff like that. Bat flips, dudes walking down the line like all the way to first base almost, and then just flipping the bat. Things that white baseball players, oh my God, every one of them probably threw up in their mouth when they saw that happening. Me, not so much. I want to see more of it. That's why I got on my Puerto Rico hat on today. That's what this is. It's a Puerto Rico World Baseball hat. Anyway, back to On This Day. On this day in 1958, the big O Oscar Robertson of Cincinnati scores an NCAA Midwest region record 56 points. Staying in Cincinnati, in this day in 1958, the Cincinnati Royals basketball star Maurice Stokes collapses during a playoff game with encephalitis. He goes into a coma and is permanently disabled. Damn. On this day in 1962, Wilt Chamberlain scored was the first to score 4,000 points, that is. His point total in other areas went way beyond that in an NBA season. Which brings up a question, too, by the way. I feel like, and I've been saying this for a couple of years now, the NBA should get out of the habit of awarding the scoring championship to the person with the highest average. It should be the person with the most points. That way you don't have to be talking about who played the most games, who played the less games. No matter how many games you played, how many points did you score this year? You're the scoring champion. And finally, on this day in 1985, Larry Holmes TKOs David Bay in 10 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your Hump Day episode or edition of On This Day. Shout out to our Women Crush Wednesday of today, Professional, like F-A-S-H-I-O-N-A-L, nurse. Professional nurse. You guys check her out. Holler at her, give her some likes or some follows or whatever you creepy bastards do. Do that. All right. So I was talking about, before I did the interview with Sinqua and Antoine, I was talking about the National Football League. It's the off season, so to speak. There really is no off season with the NFL, but it's the free agent signing period. People trading, people getting ready for the draft and all that kind of stuff. And I was talking about one, Adrian Peterson not really getting a look, and Eddie Lacy actually being the first running back off the board. Maybe only because he's the first guy who realizes what his actual value is, and everybody else was like, but wait a minute, I'm Jamal Charles. I average 5.8 yards a carry. I'm Adrian Peterson. I'm the last guy to rush for 2,000 yards in the season, and I was coming off a broken ACL. And all these general managers saying, we don't give a damn about what you did. What are you going to do? And sometimes I think that may be the hardest thing for an athlete to get through their mind, that you're not the same person that you were, like Charles Barkley and Lavar Ball, who we'll get to here in just a second. The other thing that I was perplexed about, and I actually posted this on Facebook a while ago. Well, the one thing with Terrell Pryor signed a 1-year deal with the Washington Redskins. Now, he could have signed a 4-year deal with the team he was with the Browns. And I don't blame nobody for getting up out of Cincinnati. I mean, out of Cleveland. I ain't bothered by that. But the fact that in a sport like football, where everything is so fleeting, you take this moment to, quote unquote, take a chance on yourself. He did this on purpose too. Like I was asking myself, like, who the hell is this kid's agent, man? Like, why would you let this dude who is probably one of the top, like if Alshon Jeffrey and Pierre Garçon got pretty decent deals. What you doing playing for $6 million? It's not even $6 million. Well, it's a $6 million deal with $2 million in incentives for 1 year. And he's in here talking, I'm in the article, I think it's on Pro Football Talk, talking about how he wants to prove himself. This is the NFL, B. You can step out there on the first game, on the first day, on the first snap of next year, and it's all over. And that 1 year is all you got, B. Like, I'm a very strong proponent of, especially in the NFL, you got to strike while your value is at its highest. It's like a dude coming out of college being a one and done versus being a guy who stayed for 4 years or 2 or 3 years. Like, the more people get a look at you, the more they get to pick apart your game. If anything, if you're Terrell Pryor in the season that he had last year, which was 77 catches, 1,007 yards, 4 touchdowns, playing with garbage at quarterback, you can capture the imagination of a lot of people, man. A lot of people. And get them to pay you for what they think you will do. But this year is a year where, and it might work out. You know, he might work out and put up him and Kirk Cousins out there might put up some Julio Jones type numbers, being as though they both are on 1 year deals and have, you know, feel like they still have something to prove. It may work out, but just the nature of the sport tells me that you got to get it when you can. Talking about those incentives real quick, and I want to move on to this drug stuff, this drug dealing that's going on in the National Football League. He gets $250,000 if he reaches a 60 catch plateau. A total of $600,000 if he reaches the 70,000 catch plateau, and a total of $1 million if he gets to 80 receptions or more. It's capped at $1 million. He gets $150,000 for 750 yards. A total of $300,000 for 1,000 yards, and a total of $500,000 for 1,250 yards. He gets an extra $100,000 for 6 touchdowns, a total of $300,000 for 8 touchdowns, and a total of $500,000 for 10 touchdowns. The problem with this thing also to me is that these things can be finagled. You know what I mean? Like, if he starts getting close into the season's coming up and the season's going one way or the other, they can make excuses for not getting him the ball or for quote-unquote resting him and things of that nature. You saw Mark Ingram this past year blow up over that. You know what I mean? Getting the team down to the 1 yard line, and Sean Payton understanding that my man had like $1 million on the table with that next touchdown and pulling him out the game, and Mark Ingram lost his stuff because that ain't no little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you signed those deals for a reason to motivate you to do certain things, and to think that these guys who play this game aren't thinking about those things in real time as they're happening. Like, Mark Ingram wasn't going to get back in the locker room and be like, oh, golly, man, dang, one more touchdown. I would have got, nah, he know it right then. He knows it going into the game, as he should. You know, this ain't Pop Warner. You know, keep your mind on the game, nothing but the game. You crazy as hell. It's $1 million. I think it's $1 million. I'm not 100% sure about that. Now to the land of the. Well, let me make sure that's it real quick. Yeah, I think I'll touch this Ezekiel Elliott situation. But before I do that, the other story that had me kind of perplexed: Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor took a $10 million pay cut to go back to the same team, which is perplexing to me. I don't understand why. I mean, with what I mentioned earlier with Colin Kaepernick and Jay Cutler and these cats, people are looking for quarterback help, and if for no other reason, if you're gonna go back, drive the price up, my man. Let them cut you, because that's what was going to end up happening. They were going to cut him, and he was going to get a chance to explore the open market and see what he can get out in the open market. And if you still decide at that point you want to go back to Buffalo, by all means, but you're going back with competitive numbers. Like, don't give me this crap about Tyrod Taylor's doing what's best for the team so they can get more weapons and all this ridiculous stuff. Nah, he's Tyrod Taylor. Like, this ain't Tom Brady that's going to be with the organization forever and ever and ever until he says, nah, this is Tyrod Taylor. He's going to receive $30.5 million over the next 2 seasons before becoming a free agent in 2018. Now, that's the plus side of it. He's not going to be locked down to 2021 like he would have been had the team kept him on the previous deal, which they weren't though. They had already said that they weren't. Once he came back as healthy after the offseason surgery, they were going to cut him anyway, and that's why they signed him to the deal they signed him to last year. This team-friendly deal that they can get out of at any time, which was a bad deal then. Like, I started wondering, like, who are these cats agents that got them signing up for these bullcrap NFL contracts that give them no security at all? There's people preying on their uber confidence. Like, yeah, man, I'm going to bet on myself. I know I'm going to make it happen, and then you get hurt because it's football, and that's what happens in football. You know what I mean? Anyway, now he's down to $10 million from $40.5 that he would have gotten in 2017 and 2018 combined. Yeah, that's $20 million a year if you're doing the math at home. He's down to $10 million this year. That's a lot of money, man, for a guy who, you know, you get like those quarterback or those NFL years, especially for a running quarterback. They like dog years, man. And like I said, they were expected to release him anyway if he didn't restructure the deal. It's just a weird way of looking at things, especially when you kind of gauge the market and you see Mike Glennon pull down 15 a year. What is it, $3 million, 45 in total, so an average of 15 million a year. And you see a guy like Tyrod Taylor who got tape. You know what I mean? He's a guy who actually did work in the NFL for the last 2 years and not sit behind Jameis Winston. Get money. I mean, not get money. It's just, I don't know. Like, you're worth what someone else is willing to pay you, and you're worth what you're able to negotiate for. You know what I mean? Those two things. And apparently, the Bills ain't willing to pay Tyrod Taylor, and he don't feel like he's worth them paying him. Apparently, because he didn't go get no money. It's the One Mike with Big Mike show here, live on Spreaker.com every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, not this Friday because I'll be watching basketball. I'll be watching the start of the official basketball season as opposed to all that preseason madness that you guys have been watching for the last couple of months. I'll be watching real basketball. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, normally here on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, TuneIn, and OneMikeWithBigMike.com. And don't forget, the show is also available on demand on all those platforms, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. And make sure you guys are following me on the old Twitter sphere. Let me give you guys real quick the hashtag, put it on the poll questions for the day before I move on to my next topic of discussion. Could your dad beat Charles Barkley one-on-one right now? It's brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. So far, 100% of the people say no, they couldn't. Y'all might be giving Charles Barkley away a little bit too much credit. Hey, I mean, this ain't the round mound of rebound no more. He's just round and mound now. Yeah, y'all might be giving old Chuck too much credit on this one. If your team needed a running back, would you prefer they sign Adrian Peterson or look to the draft? So far, this one has heavy participation too. So far, a lot of you people are drunk. You want Adrian Peterson? And I didn't even say what round in the draft. Like you gave me Leonard Fournette or Dalvin Cook, 20-something years old, the freshest legs on earth, to Adrian Peterson. See, there's that romanticizing that I'm talking about. Like, Adrian Peterson is giving you the best of himself. And now it's time to put him out the pasture with the rest of the old running backs. You know, with the Maurice Jones-Drews of the world, with the Matt Fortes of the world, with the Arian Fosters of the world. You got to put him out the pasture, and then bring in the new kids, the new guys in here. One more here. Do you fill out your bracket for March Madness with money on the line or just for fun? 67% of the people, just like me, they do it for the fun, man. I ain't got no money to put on this craziness, this thing called March Madness. So those polls will be up for some of them till tomorrow. Yeah, most of them till tomorrow. Hashtag put it on the poll at One Mike with Big Mike on Twitter. So head on over there and answer the hashtag put it on the poll questions. All right, moving on here. The next topic of discussion, Ezekiel Elliott. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and of course, there's nothing really to talk about today, so a bigger deal has to be made out of this than anything. Some women's right. For those of you who don't know, Ezekiel Elliott was on a St. Patrick's Day. Bruh, stop doing that. You know, like, I would tell white people to do it, but white people don't care. They gonna celebrate anybody's holiday and just turn into get drunk and get naked. You know what I mean? Everything that has nothing to do with white people. Maybe St. Patrick's Day does in a certain group of white people. But like Cinco de Mayo, whatever. If you told white people or was Mardi Gras, all that stuff. But bruh, stop taking your ass out here on St. Patrick's Day. Trying to fit in and blend in. Just chill out. You know what I mean? Chill out. Because you see what happened to this dude. He on a St. Patrick's Day float. All the white girls up there. One of them hanging on him, hugging up on him. The other one leaning over, taking the breasticles out. And at some point, he reaches over and he wants to pull a breasticle out. Come on, bruh. Where we at? Like, what's really good? Like, you're Ezekiel Elliott. You know that. And I remember talking about this. His dad talking about him, how he's kind of oblivious to the things that we all know and are very apparent to us. Because of his upbringing, private school type situation, his dad talks about him being a little bit oblivious to who he is. Like he just wants to be Ezekiel Elliott, the football player, but also Ezekiel Elliott, the fun kid, and doesn't realize at this point, obviously, that he can't be both. But no, not that he can't. Let me back it up. That people won't allow him to be both. Let me say it that way. The other thing about this is, like, people want to be, like, we live in an era where people want to be mad. They just want to be mad and angry about something, and they want to vilify someone. And no one better than someone who's at the top of their game, young black dude, young black famous dude, the top of his game. Like, instead of just doing all the crazy vilifying, just do something. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and defend what he did or say what he did is right. But this women's group, a women's group is coming out. He should be suspended for that. Really? What you got to do with that? What you got to do with that? Like, why not banned from the league? Why not arrested? If you think it's that atrocious, why not arrested? You know what I mean? He should be suspended. Come on, man. You're not for real. You're not serious about anything. You know what I mean? Like, because if you're that hurt or you're that distraught about it, go all the way. I said it about Ray Rice. People were like, I can't believe it's only 2 games. All right. What's appropriate? Because it was 2 games, and for people who don't remember, Ray Rice was getting ready to play football that year. He did a press conference at practice. He had all his teammates there. John Harbaugh was there. Everybody was there supporting him. Then the video came out. Then Goodell lied. We didn't see no damn video. We gotta reconsider this. Now you're suspended indefinitely. No, you're not. He went to court. The court said you can't do that. You can't suspend somebody twice for the same damn thing. After they found that you didn't know about the video. And it was very easy to obtain. TMZ got the damn video. The NFL couldn't get it. But what it inevitably ended up doing, because it raised the amount of ire behind everything, because apparently people can't understand what it is for a grown man to punch a woman until she's unconscious. You had to see it to actually understand what it was. That's absurd. But when you see it, now you have to be extra mad. And because now you're extra mad and people are extra mad, now this kid, he ends up getting blackballed from the league. Partly because of mostly because of the tape, but then partly because he wasn't able to play football very good anymore. The last time you saw him, he was averaging like 3 yards a carry. That's not a good thing. Again, you play a position where I don't have to take you to the shop. I just ditch you on the side of the road and go get me another one, a new one. You know what I mean? I don't need to pay nobody to fix you and then go through all the problems with you. If you're not performance ready, street ready. So that's the thing with that. So this thing with Ezekiel Elliott is going to be real, real crazy to watch watch especially white America show their level of hypocrisy when it comes to this. Because, there's a dude in the president. Got caught on tape talking about grabbing pussies and all that. Yeah, he's a dude in the White House right now. And he's there because a lot of you guys decided you're going to ignore that. That wasn't a big deal to you. This is on par with that. This is on par with that. The disgust and all this kind of stuff, and the call for something to happen to this guy, it's on par with that. And the NFL, though, the NFL not being like the normal idiot public, they're idiots in their own way. They're going to suspend this dude. He's going to serve 2, 3, 4 game suspension or something like that because of this, because they have to, because someone else told them they had to. That's the NFL's nature, the reactionary nature of the NFL. Let me see how mad people. Let's just see how mad people get about this. Then let's see how mad people stay about this. And based on those two things, we'll administer some sort of discipline. Nah, that's ridiculous. And then again, no one's talking about the Gronkowski situation because he's Gronk. He's put himself into this caricature of a human being where at one point he couldn't stand this stuff. It was real uncomfortable to watch people talk about. They'll talk about him and mock him in this like Neanderthal type style, like, oh, me Gronk, me eat meat, like that type of stuff. And you watch his face like at award shows, like I ain't trying to hear that. But now he's accepted it because now it's bringing him money. He's on like these like whack little fake ass Shark Tank type TV shows. He got booze cruises and all this kind of stuff. And this dude said he don't even use his salary money. He saved all his salary money and he just live off his endorsement money. It pays to be Gronk. You know what I mean? And also when you get caught on tape by TMZ as well, motorboating the broad. If you don't know what motorboating is, he got his face buried in the middle of some broad's chesticles, and not a peep. It's all good. You know what I mean? Because one, he's got the complexion for the protection, and he's put himself in that kind of space. Like you want to keep telling me that Ezekiel Elliott has these sexual assault accusations on him? Where I'm from, accusations are just that. Because if that wasn't the case, we'd be back in like the medieval times where everyone, that if you fell out with somebody, just accused you of being a witchcraft, and they burn you at the stake because someone else said this. It don't work like that no more. There's evidence to support his claim that the girl was lying and she was just mad and trying to play the get back game with my man. That doesn't matter though. Now that stuff really matters, because once you see that there's been some sort of I'm sorry, I was reading something. Once you see that there's some sort of a correlation between the color of this guy's skin and the color of the accuser's skin, the picture becomes more and more clear. I don't know what the hell I just said. I was trying to read and talk at the same time, but you get what I'm saying. Because there's a black dude and a white girl, accusing is all history has told us. Accusations is pretty much all you need in those situations, or someone would need in those situations. Yeah, I got time. I still got time. I'll intro this situation here. Before I do that, though, crazy situation, crazy question. I saw this article today, and I found it very disturbing. I found it extremely white. That this dude ran 5 miles in order to ask a girl to prom. Like, that's the least ballerous thing any human being has ever done in the world. Like, that's not romantic. That's just weird and stupid. I had to run all the way over here to ask you to the prom because why? Her cell phone didn't work. And then the other thing is, like, when you get there, unless she's like some old bottom basement broad, like, you not smashing, like, your nuts all sweaty and like, yeah, that's not finna happen. And then there's the possibility that she says no too. I don't even remember that life, asking someone to prom. Yeah, I did somebody a favor my junior year. No, I had a girlfriend my junior year. That's what happened. And then my senior year, yeah, I was doing my homeboy a favor. Yeah, it's a long story, whatever. But yeah, like, so that whole, like, I think they call it a promposal. Like, it's supposed to be like a marriage proposal type thing. Yep, didn't do that either. Like, I ain't do none of that kind of corny ass seen on TV type maniac kind of craziness. Like, if somebody ran to your house to ask your daughter out, yeah, dude, you need to call the police immediately. That's a person that's not stable upstairs, man, and it's gonna turn out bad for her in the long run. Like, if I was doing my question of the day, I would ask somebody, like, what's the wildest thing you've done to get a girl's attention or get a girl to mess with you, man? I can't think of anything that I've done that was that wild, to be honest with you. You know, just like my stick-to-itiveness. That's pretty much it. Just me, being like, what you mean? No. Yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah, the woman I'm married to right now, as a matter of fact. Yeah, we met when we were 17, and she was on something like, I'm not just trying to be another notch on your belt. I know how y'all get down. Yeah, it took a while. Yeah, it took 2 rounds, as a matter of fact, too. Going together, breaking up, and getting back together. Now she got me. Yeah, she hooked me. Well, like, that's the thing. Like, someone actually had to hook me. Anyway, last break of the show, we're going to come back. We got to talk about the NCAA. Got to talk about 2 old-ass men that are engaging in this ridiculous war of words. It's just ridiculous and stupid. And really, I don't know if it's that ridiculous and stupid for one person because, of course, well, not for either one of them, to be honest with you. Because one of them already gets paid for being a buffoon in Charles Barkley, and the other one, he's trying to get paid off his buffoonery in Lavar Ball. So they're like 2 peas in a pod, and we'll talk about it next here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, OneMicWithBigMike.com is where I'm being heard right now. Make sure you guys sign up for your free Spreaker accounts on Spreaker, Spreaker. They have an app as well in all your at all your app stores and whatnot. So make sure you holler at me there. Sign up for your free Spreaker accounts and follow me on Spreaker. And then share me with all your friends as well. I'll be right back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is really serious, and lately you seem to really not care. I've been there for you since day one, and I know you think I'm gonna keep ticking, but no, my friend, I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to the good times, when we were more active and ate more healthy foods, and you checked on me every once in a while? Is that too much to ask? I don't want to leave, but unless you stop ignoring me, what else am I supposed to do? Remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. Doing the minimum to control your high blood pressure isn't doing enough. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go!
Yeah, man. Heading down the final stretch here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. A decent outing. I wouldn't consider it a full game. Maybe four innings. Got shelled in the bottom of the first, and now calling in the relief. Shout out to my guys, man. Antoine Harris and Sinqua Walls from the VH1 show, The Breaks. Shout out to them for joining the show tonight. Appreciate all the love on that end. Being heard right now, Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, OneMicWithBigMike.com as well. Y'all been checking. Somebody need to check on your boy, man. Your president, man. Homie is like on some next level ridiculousness. Not apparently. Snoop Dogg put out a video today, maybe yesterday. And in the video, he's shooting a clown mock-up of Trump with a gun, that one of those like cap guns that, you know, the clown guns that confetti come out of them and the little stick comes out and it says, the sign that drops down says bang. And apparently that's a thing. You know what I mean? Like when people was hanging my man Barack in effigy and burning his body and all that kind of stuff, it was like, well, that just comes with the presidency. Now all of a sudden your man is talking about, this is what your man said. He's like clapping back on Snoop. Like the president, by the way, tweeting at Snoop. Can you imagine what so small. That's what she said. Can you imagine what the outcry would be if at Snoop Dogg, failing career and all, yeah, Snoop's career is failing. That's what's happening there. Had aimed and fired a gun at President Obama. Jail time. I don't know if he's saying that he would have been put in jail if it was Obama, or if he's insinuating that Snoop needs to do jail time for this. Either way, it's ridiculous. You're an idiot paying attention to something like this rather than, some other stuff like, I don't know, healthcare, what's going on with the Russians and all this kind of stuff that presidents should be kind of keeping their focus on. This is what we have. His lawyer was on TMZ. Snoop Dogg owes an apology. Let me tell you something. Like, Snoop Dogg can be very idiotic about certain things, in my opinion. But I got respect for the dude, period, point. Like, he's a guy, he's one of those rappers like LL and guys like that who kind of just recreated themselves. Or in the case of Snoop Dogg, he's recreated people around him. Like, whereas at a certain point in life, you could assume people like Martha Stewart wouldn't want to have nothing to do with Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg wouldn't be rapping in the White House. You know what I mean? For the first lady in the press. But he's reinvented himself. He's got his youth football league out there in L.A. His son, did a stint at where was it, UCLA for a while, and he dropped out. He didn't want to play football anymore. Apparently, he wasn't like Puffy's kid. It showed that he was a pretty good athlete. But when your pops got money, and I'm not saying this disparagingly at all, it gives you options. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to smash your head, because in the same vein, not just talking about a rapper, but David Robinson's son. He quit playing football at Notre Dame. He's the valedictorian, smart kid, had a concussion. He was like, I'm good with this. I want to use my brain later on in life. I don't want to keep smashing my head against other human beings. My dad got plenty of loot just in case. You know what I mean? I'm going to be all right. I'm going to get this Notre Dame degree, and I'm going to be all right past this. So his son quit. But, like, for the most part, man, Snoop has recreated himself and recreated the people around him, or recreated the way people view him as well. But your man, Donald Trump, this dude is such a victim at every turn, man. You know what I mean? What, Bow Wow's bugging? My man, I am no dose checking back in. How's Bow Wow bugging? He still talking about going to the Falcons game next week? That's what's happening. Real Donald Trump, shut your punk ass up. Talking ass about my Uncle Snoop Dogg before we pimp your wife and make her for us. Wow. Is that what Bow Wow tweeted? Oh, man. Like, that type of stuff that's like, it's kind of like, that ain't even fair game. Like, his wifey, I've talked about this before. Like, she ain't asked for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like any other thotty chick. She wanted a sugar daddy plus a green card. And the next thing you know, this dude got her on Front Street out here. You know what I'm saying? Running for president so people could, like, put her naked photos out there and call her a hoe and all this. And now Bow Wow talking about sex trafficking the bride. Like, that ain't right. That's bad guy stuff, man. And, of course, the bad guy amongst us would be the one to bring my attention to it. Oh, man, that's tough. Before we pimp your wife and make her work for us. Wait. Isn't Bow Wow on, like, one of those CSI movies? Or CSI shows? He ain't pimping no damn body. What kind of ridiculousness is before we pimp your wife? Yeah, calm down, Mighty Mike. He's like the little chicken hawk. You know what I mean? The little tough chicken hawk on Foghorn Leghorn. Go ahead on, man, with that craziness. We gonna pimp your wife. So anyway, yeah, man, the point I was getting to before I move on here is like, if dude apologize, man, like, all respect is lost. I ain't with that game at all, man. Do your thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, the president, stop being an idiot. Stop being an idiot. Stop being a racist. Stop being all these ridiculous things, man. And people like Snoop Dogg won't have you on their videos dressed like a clown with that long ass tie, shooting you with a fake gun, by the way, with confetti. This man acting like my man was really on some assassination attempt. By the way, over the weekend too, some dude did jump the fence over there. What happened to him? Yeah, they probably got that dude body buried somewhere deep in the desert, cuz. Like, you heard about that story over the weekend, and then it just went away. His name sounded like he was an Asian cat, too, so like a ninja. He just jumped over the fence and was headed for Donald Trump's bedroom with some mace. I probably shouldn't laugh at that, because, like, the world is going to go to hell in a handbasket if that type of stuff does go down, but... whatever, man. That dude, man. We all gonna die anyway. once he get too upset with Kim Jong whoever or Boris, whatever my man named over in Russia, get tired of his ass, it's gonna be a nuclear war anyway. So who gives a damn? What that's the NCAA thing. Before I get to this ridiculousness with, or should I do the LaVar Ball thing first? Inquiring minds want to know. Let's do this the Charles Barkley, LaVar Ball thing. I talked about this on Monday real quick. How LaVar Ball all of a sudden now thinks he could beat Michael Jordan in a 1-on-1 game of basketball. And the thing is here's the thing. At that point, when that stuff started, because I get it was a build up to that. The Steph Curry situation, my son better be a Laker. That build up situation. Once that comes out the mouth, like everybody gotta just back up. Like these folks that are getting irate about it. I saw Kenyon Martin. He's like, man, he crazy as hell. Like that's not even worth even having an exciting conversation about. Like this dude is obviously ridiculous, or he understands the moment that he's in. And now he's at a place, he's just like Charles Barkley at this point, as a matter of fact, where every word that comes out of his mouth, every ridiculous thing that comes out of his mouth, people are hanging on it and ready to react to it. And he knows it, so why not ramp it up? Continue to say the most ridiculous thing over and over and over again, and then because the internet still works in America, people went and looked this man up. And I talked about this the other day when I was talking, like Monday, when I was talking about parents with their dreams deferred and trying to get their kids to fulfill their situation. And, he was a college basketball player, allegedly. He played 1 year at like San Jose State or something, San Francisco State or something damn where. And people found out that my man averaged 2 points a game. Yeah, 2 points and like 0.1 block, and like this is the most ridiculously minimal stat line you could ever have. So your man Charles Barkley was on with Mike and Mike on ESPN, and they asked him about, I think Trey Wingo was filling in for Mike Greenberg, and they asked him about LaVar Ball because he's had some things to say about LaVar Ball's son, the youngest one, scoring 92 points, and he said some things about the dad, being so mouthy in these type of situations. I don't know, does Charles Barkley have any kids? I've asked that before. I don't even think Charles Barkley has any kids. Being in the parenting game really ain't your thing. But anyway, so here's what Charles Barkley had to say. It's about 90 seconds long, so just enjoy all the foolery that's involved with this clip of Charles Barkley on the Mike and Mike show.
I got a phone call from one of my friends, one of my mentors. He said this thing. He said something funny to me. He said, Charles, would you quit arguing with this guy who averaged 2 points a game in college?
Jesus.
He says, a guy averaged, you know how hard it is to average 2 points? Because, Mike, if you explode and get 10, your average will be 5. For you,
I don't even understand
for you
that.
to average 2 points a game, you're just an awful player. I mean, think about it, Mike. If you played 2 college games and had 10 points, your average would be 5. You have to be flat out awful to average 2 points a game for a season. I think he just likes the attention. You got to understand, Mike, they probably weren't interviewing guys who average 2 points a game in college.
Jesus.
Listen, like I said, I think his kid's probably the number one player in the draft, and I wish he would let his kid shine. I mean, listen, once I found out he averaged 2 points a game, he says, I didn't win the championship. And I said to myself, I need to go back and Google this guy, because maybe I missed the Ball era when he was dominating and winning championship everywhere. Let me tell you something. Listen, I'm too old and fat to play basketball, but I'll challenge Mr. Ball to a one-on-one. I don't even know how old he is. I think he might be right. He's got to be around my age. But ain't no guy who averaged 2 points a game can beat me one-on-one. I'm positive of that.
I mean, that's all fair, I guess. I mean, like, as a Hall of Fame basketball player, it is one of those things where, like, at some point, like, your pride got to kick in. Like, when, like, if you're a dad and your son is, like, 14, but he's, like, 6'2", it don't matter. He's 14. So you got to start pulling out those old man dad tricks. The only problem is both of these cats are old men. You know what I mean? This is why I put on my poll question. Hashtag put it on the poll, brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. Do you think your dad could beat Charles Barkley one-on-one? My dad's not an athlete at all, so no, he couldn't. But I'm sure that there are some people's dads who take care of their bodies, who know a little bit about basketball, like in that same range, that could tear Charles Barkley's ass up right now. That dude just said out of his own mouth, he's too fat to play basketball right now. Now, LaVar Ball, by the look of things, he ain't like no tip top shape. You know what I mean? Like, he's not walking around here like Lou Ferrigno or nothing. So if you ask me, it's like a push. They both in the same bag. But of course, that happened, and then people said, well, since Charles said this, we got to put a microphone in LaVar Ball's face too. And here's what he had to say.
That boy out of shape. I play him now, it'll kill him. He'll jump off the bridge and say, man, I thought I could play. Remember what he did with the Rockets? He didn't get hurt. He just fell out. He's too big. Just enjoy talking and eating Krispy Kreme donuts. He'll be fine. He wouldn't score a bucket. He too slow. He can't walk. Us at least can still move. I know I can get around him. That boy too big. I'm watching him sit in that chair. He getting bigger. But he kind of delusional now. As you get older, you get more delusional, Thinking he can beat me now, he got to be crazy. He can take that 35-point average, what he thought he had, and go against my 2 points. Man, what does that tell you if I beat him and only average 2 points?
This is one of the most one of the most old black men in the barbershop playing checkers and chess type moments of all time. And this is actually making like national coverage. These two old bastards talking about whose knees hurt the least. Who scored how many ever points 45 years ago. Come on, man. It's like at some point, like we all have to just be like, all right, let's move on from this guy. You know what I mean? Because like I said yesterday, man, the averages say that either definitely all of his sons won't be stars in the NBA, and if he's lucky, one will, or if they're lucky, one will. You know what I mean? Because that's just the numbers game. Like look at every draft that comes out. A lot of times it's guys that come out of nowhere end up being the stars, and the other times it ends up being like LeBron James ends up being the sure thing. You know what I'm saying? Karl Anthony Towns ends up being the sure thing. But then look at guys like D'Angelo Russell and guys like Jahlil Okafor, guys who we had debates about. Kristaps Porzingis, people booed it. He's a pretty damn good basketball player. One more thing on LaVar Ball real quick, because he seems to never be done. My man decided he wasn't just gonna deal with Charles Barkley. He had to deal with LeBron too. He started talking about LeBron's kids are gonna be trash, and his reasoning behind it is because LeBron, he's too great of a player. Yeah, he's too great of a player to be any good. I actually thought I saved that note, but I don't see it here. I shared it on my Facebook though, because I thought it was just that hilarious. And my man says that because he wasn't that good, or because LeBron is too good, he don't have as much time to spend with his kids and to train his kids and all that kind of stuff. So his sons are gonna be trash. And he's like, look at Steph Curry. His daddy wasn't no all-star, and look how good he is. Well, okay, then by that logic, his brother should be good as hell too. By that logic, no, it doesn't work that way. But again, your homie starts talking, and you know what I mean, people feel obligated to listen. You know what I'm saying? And the more and more ridiculous things happen, like at a certain point, people gotta just turn it off. Like it's not captivating anymore. It's just it's like Trump. You know what I mean? I believe President Obama bugged my house. Come on, B. Really? And y'all see this thing with these tax returns the other day, right? Yeah, this white dude was on CNN last night. He was like, I wouldn't be surprised if he let it out. Because if you can get that information, like if you can get Donald Trump's tax returns to leak it, if somebody else could, like if it was me, if I'm going to leak it, I'm going to leak everything. So everybody can see everything. But it's just one page from like 1995. Come on, B. Come on, man. Say that drama, man. Like everybody, you can't just assume everybody's that stupid, to believe like that's not a thing. That's not like the same thing like the Obama situation. Just these distraction techniques that they keep throwing out here. Man, damn you and your tax returns, man. Until you're ready to come up off of all of them, I'm good. And everybody else, I think everybody else should be as well. What was the last thing I said I wanted to talk? Oh, March Madness is here. Along with it, all this damn hypocrisy, all this ridiculousness. NCAA going to be claiming broke. Can't pay no damn players. What do you mean? Paying with what? All right, here's what. The last 10 minutes of the show, it's gonna be a lot of reading in this because this article is centered around Kentucky Just some inserts about Kansas in here, the University of Kansas, and where the money, how the money is blowing up on these college campuses to the point that, like, the college professors are by far, the people who teach at these places of higher learning, quote unquote, are getting paid far less than coaches of sports like rifling. Like, yeah, what? So at Kentucky, from 2006 to 2016, the pay for the Kentucky's track and field coach went from $108,000, which already, that's like, damn, to $429,000. The men's tennis coach went from $122,000 to $230,000. Gymnastics, that went from $112,000 to $252,000. More than the school's average for full professor salary. The salaries for coaches of a lower profile college sports is obviously subsidized by men's basketball and college football, because these sports, tennis and all, they don't bring no revenue in. Come on. We all know that. That's at Kentucky. At the University of Kansas, the men's golf coach, the coach, that's how old black men say coach. The coach went from $84,000 to $201,000. He went from a good $84,000 salary to six figures like that quickly in a decade. The women's volleyball coach went from $94,000 to $221,000. I mean, I think that's a good look, at least. Well, I don't know, because it says women's volleyball coach, but it doesn't say that it's a woman. So I was going to say that the woman is making more than the man, but that doesn't necessarily say that. The men's soccer coach went from $66,000 to $188,000. Mind you, we're talking from 2006 to 2016. Like, in the midst of that, there was a huge recession that apparently didn't even touch college basketball. The Wildcats track and field coach, if you're looking for like percentages here, the pay went up 298%. 200, that ain't even a real number. There's no such thing as really 298%. That's how big that is. And if you're looking for a comparison for like in your life, the average American worker's pay went up 0.7%. So a differentiation of 298% or 297.3%. You know what I mean? Even the rich people, like the top 95% of the earner, or people who make like 95% of the money in the country, their pay raise was only 13%. Just to give you guys a kind of a roadmap of what the hell is going on. These people keep claiming broke. We can't pay the players. We can't give them no extra money. We don't have it. Yeah, you know why? Because being a nonprofit, you got to find ways to hide it. You got to build these monstrosities of these damn facilities that won't even get used for like these quote unquote non-revenue or Olympic type sports. They don't bring no money. Nobody's going to see these things. I'm looking for this thing about. Oh, okay. They talk about the ticket sales at Kentucky. That basically people are paying thousands upon thousands of dollars just for the rights, for the ticket rights to be able to buy these tickets to like Kentucky basketball and sit in certain places. Meanwhile, the baseball stadium, empty. The team doesn't even bring in enough revenue to cover the coach's salary, which I don't even understand what part of America that happens in. Like, if we're not making enough money, you got to get paid less normally. But that ain't how it go, because of course these schools got to continue to maintain this non-profit status, so they got to burn the money on everything. Before I get out of here, I got to give you guys the totals on some of these facilities that we're talking about. The baseball team, right? Let's give you the actual numbers. They make $375,000 this year, which is up from $235,000 last year. The coach, they play games with like 150 people in the stands. That's even less than like some high schools, because the guy who the current coach replaced was making $577,000 a year. My God. Now to the facilities. They're building this team who had 150 people in the stands is now in the midst of a of constructing a $49 million baseball stadium that's going to have artificial turf, permanent seating for 2,500 people, and the ability to expand up to 7,000. Yeah, you're going to go from 150 to 7,000. That's good. They're going to put it in the Athletic Village, you know what I mean, which has a $45 million football training complex. That's not the stadium, by the way. That's just the training complex. A $9.5 million softball stadium, because that's needed, and a $7.7 million soccer stadium for all these schools that don't turn a profit. Meanwhile, the kids that's out here getting concussions and getting their back broke in this violent contact sport of football in particularly. Yeah, take this gift bag from the Sun Bowl. You know, it's not illegal if the Sun Bowl gives it to you, but if like the other day, Lavar Ball, going back to Lavar Ball again, he had to take down his son's picture off of his family company's website because USC snitched on UCLA, and that's some sort of violation. Wait a minute. The Ball kid is all over UCLA stuff, and it's all over, CBS and TNT and wherever the game is going to be played. But his dad, the man who is half responsible for him being on this earth, period, can't put him on his website. This is why I can't really force myself to have a problem with homeboy. You know what I'm saying? I can't, like if he was raising some gangbangers, maybe we have a problem. Or some guys that take over his crack empire, maybe we might have a problem. But yeah, it's still doing business, man. And his, what's better to keep in the business than family, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? But it's just ironic to me that he was forced. They had to report the violation because it's a violation. His son's picture, his boy, because he plays for UCLA, can't be on his family's business website. How crooked and twisted and ridiculous is that? All in the name of amateurism, shamateurism, as I call it. So just know, while you watching your basketball games this weekend, I'll be watching too, because I'm a hypocrite when it comes to college sports, man. I point it out, but I still consume it because of the product that it is. Nonetheless, you know what I mean? It's still one of those things that's just ridiculous to me. Like the Kentucky rifle coach makes $133,000 a year, and I'm not mad at nobody. I'm not counting nobody's money. I'm just speaking on the point that it's always an issue. Like you can confidently say that the rifle coach is making more than the business professor by like $10,000-$12,000. I would ask you who's more valuable. To be honest with you, if we're talking like value, and then even more so, the players on the court and on the field. Like Nick Saban can take his ass out there, and Dabo Swinney can take their ass out there, but if Deshaun Watson and Derrick Henry and these cats ain't behind them, and no one's on the football field or on the basketball court, there's a problem. There's a huge problem. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna ever get fixed, especially now. Agent Orange is running the town, and they got these super PACs. The ADs got their political action group or action, whatever the C stands for. I'm not sure. PAC. I forgot what the C stands for. But they got all that popping to make sure these kids don't get no money at all. So the next time you complain about the one and dones, or you complain about somebody needing to stay, Brad Kaya should have stayed, and what? Get hurt for free? Man, stop. All right, that's going to do it, man. That's going to do it for the week, as a matter of fact. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. Big L, Reg, I Am No Doze, my guys, Antoine Harris, Sinqua Walls from The Breaks, every Monday at 10 o'clock on VH1. Don't forget Underground tonight on WG, and I got to get somebody on from Underground as well. That's my other jam, man. So I'll be looking forward to that. I'm right here doing work, man, as much as I possibly can, as I try to get Reggie and Marcus up to speed and get some relief up in this piece. But until next Monday, man, we'll come back on Monday. We'll talk about how trashy everybody's brackets are, because they will be busted more than likely by Monday. So we'll come back on Monday and get it in on that note. Don't forget the show is available on demand and for you to download, stream, and share at Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, tune in, OneMicWithBigMike.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Also, check out the live stream, the replay on my Facebook page, One Mic with Big Mike. Like that joint as well, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at One Mic with Big Mike as well. You guys be safe, man. I'll talk to you guys next Monday.